to begin with, I'll just talk a little bit about why we have a music department at Cambridge Creation Lab. Um, to put it in a nutshell, I discovered, through experience and with time, that I was not drawn towards a systematic sequence of actions in design thinking. And because I was not drawn to a systematic sequence, I knew that I maybe needed some structure, you know? So, and that's when I know I started taking classes at Berklee under Shane. And I cannot but say that I think he was the most awesome teacher I ever had, you know. After my teacher, who was my father in India, who taught me whatever I know. But musically, I don't think I could have expected a better teacher, when I got to know Shane. I was very adamant that I don't want to learn structure. And do you remember what you told me, Shane?
what what did I tell you? Oh, learn the rules first.
Yes, yes. And you said it in a way, and you put it across in a way, and you didn't judge my assignments, which were always never worse, chorus, worse, So they always, just randomized stream of consciousness, So, and you always let me be myself, and yet you put structure to it. So that's one thing that always made me feel that even when we are in the quest of alternative methods of design processes, we do need structure. So one of the things that we're going to be working in Cambridge Creation Lab is design thinking. And for design thinking, no matter how we think in random patterns or whatever kind of patterns we think in, I think it is important to first have the structure and then break them. It's exactly like music. And I know a bit of music. I have no complete expertise to teach music. So we have Shane and Bobby in our music department, um, gracefully helping me through this new venture, and possibly helping me and the students or the participants develop a way of thinking which could be enhancing a sense of logic, because I will be teaching a lot of illogical stuff. so so to create a balance of logic and illogical thinking, we do need a lot of structure. And so I'm really glad to welcome Shane Adams and Bobby Stanton. And now they're going to take over, and I'm going to stop talking. Shane, if you could introduce Bobby, please.
I am so thrilled to introduce to you one of my mentors, very influential to me, Bobby Stanton. He's Bobby Stanton's been playing in world-class bands since he was a teenager. He moved to Nashville before moving to Boston, Massachusetts to go to Berklee College of Music, where he graduated with honors and became the first student to receive the prestigious Ovation Award. His musical path has been diverse, including appearances on Garrison Keillor's Prairie Home Companion, Dave Brubeck's A Welcome Home Christmas. Bobby has played with James Taylor, Bo Diddley, Hal Blaine, Sleepy LaBeef, The Temptations, The Drifters, Charlie Daniels, Noel Redding, and many others. He has won songwriting awards from Broadcast Music Incorporated and ASCAP, and contributed articles to several international music publications, including Guitar Player magazine. He's the leader of the Bobby Stanton Band. He studied with Lenny Brow and Charlie Banakis, which is just the just guitar royalty. As I said, I had the pleasure of being in Bobby's class. He roped me in. I was a rock and roll piano player in a field of jazz musicians at Berklee, and I felt out of place. And Bobby taught the country music ensemble, and like, why, for heaven's sake, would anybody want to play country music? It was the the island of misfit toys, and it was truly one of the most beautiful, transformative experiences of my life. Not just the introduction to such wonderful music, but the level of musicianship was amazing under the direction of Bobby. I learned how to write music charts, and Bobby gave me a sense of, you can do it. You may not know how now, but that's okay. There's a way to learn how to do it, and it's a legacy that I have felt responsible for handing over to my students and the people I work with. I'm completely grateful and standing on his shoulders in all of my teaching. But rather than hearing me blather on about Bobby, I was hoping, Bobby, if you would you mind playing us something on that guitar for
Yes,
us?
yes, I will, Shane. After that beautiful introduction, my head's going to explode. So the thing is, I play a whole bunch of different things, so I wasn't quite sure what to play. So I'll play like a medley. I'll think chronologically in my life. When I was little, I listened to Chet Atkins. So I'll just shut up and play. Maybe I should shut up and play. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
You don't see
But
hear those sounds anymore. You don't hear that
probably
kind
not.
of sound anymore.
Yeah, well, it's probably a good thing. Some places it's always my way of playing. Of course, has always been a very obscure, you know,
Yeah, it's very soulful. It's so soulful.
oh, for sure.
But
So
what I've liked about Bobby is those amazing, beautiful things are obtainable through work and through direction. Bobby is when you describe somebody as being, oh, he is immensely talented. What that really translates to here is somebody who put in the work and who had the right mentors and the right teaching to direct that person in into a trajectory of beauty and precision, and that is attainable to others who are willing to put in the same amount of hours, the same amount of hard work as Bobby. I mean, not to degrade Bobby's natural gifts and abilities, but it's really just a level of hard work and dedication
Yes.
that can be attained by anybody.
yeah, it's true. That is true. For whatever reason, I answer this question all the time. I just did a podcast, um, And that's the whole thing about. I mean, all you have to do is the work. And as a teacher, the weird thing is it's pretty easy right away to say, oh, jeepers, obviously, you need to, play on this side of the neck or some, some crazy thing. It's usually pretty obvious to diagnose what the problem is, but then motivating them to figure it out, that's the trick. How to figure out what kind of a learner they are. I mean, the music part's easy. It's like being a doctor. You diagnose them. But the thing is, it's like there are people on the spectrum. I'm not thinking, no, there are people all over the spectrum, right, that learn in different ways, and some people are left-handed and playing upside down. So the problem is not figuring out what they need to do. That's easy. The hard part is figuring out how to motivate them and figure out what their learning style is.
Yeah, absolutely. I had this really wonderful experience yesterday walking my dog. We had torrential rains in Nashville all day yesterday. Just it was like living underneath a snare drum. I mean, it was incredible. And my dog was just dying to go out to relieve himself. And we really was not able to go out because my dog hates the rain. Uh, it was roughly 8 or 9 p.m. and the rain had cleared and it was absolutely gorgeous. The streets were completely wet. The clouds had cleared. There was a gigantic, almost brilliantly bright full moon in the sky. Not quite, but almost. And and I've never experienced this before. I'm out walking the dog, and if you've ever been in a harbor or by a body of water where there's lights, there's this phenomenon from your perspective. All the reflection of lights always point to you, to the
Yeah.
individual. And so imagine that. But as I'm walking, the moon was directly overhead at 12 o'clock in the sky, and there was literally a glow around me. It was like I was
Oh my
in my
God.
own little personal. I've never experienced this, because of the reflection of the street. Everything was black. There's no street lights on my street. And it was like I had this like personal spotlight where with the leash just going just beyond on this light, and I felt so beautiful and privileged, like the gods that be are just shining. But I realized that it's not me. It's the moon, and the moon is shining down on every person, and everybody has their own personal halo. They just have to be willing to go out onto that street and do the work and be in that moonlight, and we will all be swallowed up in our own light, in our own spotlight. That it's not because I am special, it's because the moon is special, and and the music is special. You just have to be willing to go out and do the work and be under the influence of that sphere of light and radiance.
You took
Well,
away the privilege of me introducing you, Shane, because whatever you said describes you so much more wholesomely than all these. I have a bad memory. Shane knows I have a bad memory. I don't remember stuff. So I have my phone here telling me all the details about Shane so that I don't forget. And all the legit details. So I'm going to read out a little bit, but you did the most profound description of yourself, because as a teacher, that's well what I felt as a student myself, that when I joined Berklee music classes, Bobby, it was because I wanted to learn some structure to my lyric writing. I wasn't interested in writing songs or music, though it goes in my family, but I was never, I was a rebel without a cause. So
yeah,
I didn't want to learn structure. So when I joined, I'm like, okay, I'm going to join this. I'm going to learn some structure and I'm going to be done with it and I'm going to go my path. So, but Shane has this beautiful way of making every student, not just myself, m- make them feel that they are individuals, they're special, they have a purpose, and it is not limited within music, it goes beyond music, it goes beyond your careers. there's a vibration, there's a resonance in your presence in the universe, and music is one of them. So I was absolutely privileged to be your student, Shane. So I'm going to read out a little blabber, which I'm sure I'm going to put in a link at the in the video. Shane Adams is a twice Grammy nominated music educator, just twice. I don't know why. An award winning producer and songwriter. He's president of Artist Accelerator and is a founding instructor for Berklee Online, which where he has taught lyric writing and songwriting till since 2003. He's a featured songwriter and instructor for the Taylor Swift Education Center at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. And the list goes on and on. He was featured in so many places. He writes for the I Sing magazine, and there are multiple million courses that Shane has taught. But some of the things that are special and that stand out is how he made us do little assignments, Shane. Like, for example, you made us do that top five. Remember, you made us do the top five music. I have a very rigid way of looking at music, Bobby. I still do, and I only like one genre of music, and I'm close to many genres. Like my son, for example, he likes jazz, he likes rap, he likes he likes John Cage, and he likes all kinds. I have a closed mind, but but Shane had a way of convincing me that don't be so close. Listen and look out for the the strategic ways in which a song has been written. Look out for the intricacies of songwriting in that, and don't look at it as a piece that you need to listen to when you are relaxed. Look at it as something to learn from, and that is why I listen to a lot of music. I remember I listened to Coldplay for the first time because you told me, you know, and then I fell in love with their music. I wouldn't listen earlier. Earlier, it was just, I was brought up with Bob Dylan, an overdose of Bob Dylan. So for me, Bob Dylan is the beginning and the end of the universe. Anything in between is like, it's okay, you know, but that changed my mindset, that way of looking at music, not just feeling music, but looking at music, enhancing your skills as a person, you know. So I think I became a better person learning from you, Jane. I can say that. I remember all the funny things you would do in class. He's this real fun guy, you know. So I'm sure students who learn from him have a great time learning. And I know as a student, how was he, Bobby? How was he as a student? Do
He
you
was the same
remember?
way. He's incorrigible. He's the same way. Yeah.
He was
No,
the same way.
yeah, it was exactly the same way. He was having fun all the time. What's the Spinal Tap quote? The keyboard player actually says, he what he wants out of life is like to have fun all the time.
Oh.
So the thing with Shane was that he was a standout. I remember you didn't even need to finish I forget I think it was you and it was me and two other people doing these auditions. And because it was going to be a big show, it was going to be in the Berkeley Performance Center. And so you didn't even finish your audition. We went, yeah, he's definitely the guy. Uh, he's just a standout. And then he had everybody in stitches. That's why I was playing this a little bit earlier because every time I think of him, I will never forget because I was supposed to be kind of in charge of this performance. And so I played. Remember that song, Happy Trails?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
And so we're sitting on hay bales, and it's a big production, expensive production, right? They have all these lights. It's one of the three big concerts of the year. And so we're sitting on hay bales, and he comes marching out around the coins like this. It was funny. It just cracked everybody up. And it's just like, from then on, it was really easy to play this show. And so he's always been like this. I don't know what's wrong with him. But he was always just the way he is. I mean, he's just a perfect example, of somebody who's supposed to be doing what he's doing. Just that analogy with the moon a minute ago, that was crazy. Personal halo. I mean, is that a good hook or
A
what?
personal halo.
And yeah, and you could talk about. I mean, I can totally picture that. The lights and everything. I totally picture that. He was just always a standout student, and it was just. I just remember when you graduate. I won't mention the person actually who came at the next person who after you graduated who we used, but I think they were like really famous or something for a short while after that because they were really good, but it's just like they were so serious, and it just totally changed everything. So. Uh, I forget who that was. I know who it was, but I'm not going to say. Um,
Yeah, I also remember, we had a book release in 2018, and I was very honored that he came all the way from Nashville to the MIT Museum. And my son was there. He was very tired that day. My son was very tired. He still came because it was my book release, so he had to come. And he said I was yawning till Shane came. And that's when I woke up and I had so much fun, just listening to him. So he has a way of grabbing your attention with the simplest of things. And I think that's a great gift. Would you like to play us something, Shane? Something that's dear to you?
Sure. And let me throw this back on you guys. This self-congratulatory loop that we're in. Really, that's the kind of thing we want to bring to Cambridge Creative Labs. This excitement, this energy. The way you described your conversion to music outside your gravitational pull is the same thing. When I showed up in Bobby's class, I was listening to Journey and Foreigner. Like 80s rock. That's all I knew. And started listening to country, and then a little bit of jazz, and a little bit, and it was like being thrown out into the solar system. And when you only think, when your only planet is Earth, which is a beautiful planet, and all 80s rock is a beautiful blue green inhabitable planet. But there's other planets out there. There's Jupiter and Saturn with its rings, and there's the beautiful red of Mars. Venus rains diamonds. There's just other things out there, and to be able to explore that universe, and it doesn't mean that your home planet is any less precious, but there's just more out there, and so I also send that same compliment and to Bobby for opening my eyes, and again, that's what we want for this school. We want people to have that experience of surfing the aurora borealis. Just like to hold, to feel the push of a rocket on your back, and to hold a ball of water in 0 G. Just have these experiences that are outside your realm of comfort to make you work hard,
Mhm.
but just to love it the entire time. What to play? I have no. All right, here's an old fit. Here's what I auditioned. I think I auditioned to this. You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love and drive a man insane. You brought my will. Oh, what a thrill! Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Needed love, but I thought it was money. You came along and moved me, honey. Your love is fine, and love is kind. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. Feels good. Hold me, baby. I want to love you like a lover should. You're fine, so kind. Got to tell this world that you're mine, mine, mine. Chew my nails and I twiddle my thumbs. Real nervous, but it sure is fun. Your love is crazy, drive me crazy. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
So much fun. So much fun.
the Steve Allen ending.
In that same show, Bobby suggested we had this beautiful 9-foot Steinway grand that Herbie Hancock has played on, Stevie Wonder, Duke Ellington, like the greatest piano players in the world. And Bobby said, what you need to do during that, because I played that song during that performance, there's this little solo section where, to take the fall board, the piece of wood that protects the keys, and just to grab it and go bam, bam, bam. So I would do, got to tell this world that you're mine, mine, mine. But I got to tell this world that you're boom, 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 boom. And the stage hands, and everyone's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
This $300,000 piano that I threw out of tune.
Where I opened for Jerry Lee Lewis at Sullivan Stadium, and it was
Oh
a
my
huge
gosh.
audience, and he literally caused a riot, and that's what he did. I mean, he literally caused a riot. At first he came out and he made faces at all the other players. I won't tell you, just he was pretty mean, and then. He went up there and he just destroyed the piano. He was like the third act on because he had to go back someplace. So he was doing that da 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 da, and he was slamming that on the backbeat until it finally broke. And then he threw it over his head and he went like this. He was just like so totally. And then he said, "Why don't you come on down?" And this is Sullivan Stadium. It's like 30,000 people all rushed down on the field, and like all the security guards just like started crying. They was just like they freaked. And so now the audience is just like right up on the stage, and he picked up the back of the door. He threw it into the audience. He probably killed somebody. And then he went like this, and like the audience went nuts, and he walked off. He was unbelievably good, but that's where I got that trick.
Yeah,
And
that's so.
that's what we want to give you guys. That's what we want to get the people to take. Like we want you to have that same excitement, that same that music, and then actually art. It's not an intellectual exercise.
Yeah.
It's not It's not academic. It's the emotion that 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 feeds us. But being able to tap into that emotion through graduated learning and learning those processes.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
I know
it's all
you
the
were
same
so
thing.
fun. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Bobby.
I was just gonna say you were talking about like the connections between all of these things, and it's all the same thing. Art is art in any media. Whether it's architecture or whatever. And music is science. At least it can be explained with science until you get to the metaphysical aspect of it, because really art is not really about. You're right. It's not about logic and mathematics. You can get computer art that way, but then there's that other human part that's where you connect to your personal halo. Um, that's the important part, but you need all this information. You need to know how to play a C scale. And the thing is, this drives me crazy because it comes up so often with guitar players. It's like somehow it's gonna, bonk their buzz. It's gonna somehow screw up their ability to play if they learn stuff. And that was so rampant during the 80s with the punks and that sort of thing. And the thing is, they said, lots of them, friends of mine, they would say, I never studied never listened to anybody, never, studied anything, and I'm a millionaire or something. But every one of them who said they didn't study or didn't listen to anybody, they all sounded like Chuck Berry, out of tune. It's just, you must have listened to Chuck Berry. Too bad you didn't learn the tune or something. I mean, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but that's an old one. There is, I mean, like if I was gonna, I felt like, you know what, I'm gonna be a surgeon, but you know what? I think I got this. I'll just like practice on something, and I'll just find my way. I won't have to go to school. In fact, all that crazy stuff, it kind of cramps my style. I just feel like I should cut people open with however I like. You know. Well, I mean that's absolutely ridiculous, and it's the you know the meat of my existence. Um, but it is all mathematics, everything. I mean, it's all the golden mean. I mean, every carbon-based creature is a logarithm. The frets on a guitar are a logarithmic equation, just
Yeah.
like the leaves on a tree, or because of the inside of our ears are formed that way. So it's mathematics,
Yeah.
but it's kind of
And some
fractal.
of the best mathematics students are very good musicians.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We hear that all the time in the campus also. The best mathematicians are the
Yeah.
best musicians. And sometimes you just go past and you don't even realize, you feel that you are hearing the best music. um, and briefly, not taking too much time, if you could share with the students who want to register, what are the kind of courses that we're going to have in the school, the music courses?
So I'm going to jump in first, if that's okay, Bob. So I've developed the first rollout of courses. Courses. I'm thinking songwriting already. Of courses. You will learn about choruses in my courses. Um, I'm calling the professional songwriter cutting edge songwriting techniques and advanced songwriting techniques, where really you're able to overcome writer's block and learn to brainstorm and organize combinations of chords, melodies, and word to be emotionally engaging in your own personal genre. And this is primarily based on looking through your favorite songs, what you love, and crafting a path based on what you like, and then building upon that with suggestions. So there's three songwriting courses we'll do. There will be a home recording to learn how to put that into onto the internet, and iTunes and Google Play and YouTube, all that kind of stuff. And then I also have what's called a Miracle Piano course, which teaches people how to play the piano, in a sense, not if you want to learn to play Bach and Beethoven and Mozart, like, I am not your guy. But if you want to learn to play songs and be able to, have, you know, just really, really lovely being able to accompany yourself with chords and sing and play your songs. That's the goal. And hopefully absolute beginners will be the first on the list to take these courses. Bobby, how about you? What will you tell us a little bit about your courses?
My courses, I will. But first of all, that sounded like Debussy, what you just played a minute ago, or Ravel even. So you do know. You just don't know you know. um, my courses it's really simple. It's technique 1 through 4. I have 4 of them. And it starts out with very basic things about a guitar, like what you should be looking for when you buy a guitar, how to tune a guitar, what's wrong with your guitar, why is it too hard to play, why is it, all these things that stop, guitar players from learning because their guitar won't be in tune and it's too hard to play, and all those crazy things. And I start out at a very basic level like that. I teach them how to tune. I say, buy a free app. That's what I say. Uh, and then it goes through the different levels, and at this point, I'm trying to make it as generic as possible so that I can be as open as possible, so that I can talk to songwriters, because I'm a songwriter too, and from the songwriters to maybe somebody who wants to play different genres, I guess, from jazz to whatever. And so I'm trying to make it as open as possible so that we can, be inclusive, let all these different styles and genres maybe take part in these techniques, and then within them branch out into the different things.
Yeah, yeah. For me, I think the most important reason I think I wanted us to have a music department was, besides the structure and the motivation, to be more structured. I think because uh, music opens up configurations of the mind better. And no matter we are studying math or physics or architecture or research, I think without a musical processing of the sounds, I think it's half-hearted. So I doubt I would have been able to write even whatever I write, without that kind of structure that I got at Berklee. So I'm very grateful to Berklee, to Shane, and indirectly to Bobby. So um, because without that, I don't think I would be listening to sounds as music, you know. So it has helped me immensely. And I think all the key to all experience is listening. So I think I developed a better listening ear, you know, not just musically, but just listening. For example, when I was in campus and I would pass by the 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 nitrogen cylinder, the nitrogen, I think I told you, Shane, when you were here in the campus, the hissing, the dissonance was beautiful, you know and I was able to base my narratives based on the dissonance. So basically, in my mind, it was first listening to the dissonance. So to be able to gather that the sound is dissonant, that itself needs musical experience. And then to translate that into stories. Okay. So the beginning was listening. So I don't think without music, there is anything that we can do artistically or even scientifically. So that's one of the primary reasons I think all students at Cambridge Creation Lab, even those who are studying interdisciplines between biology and architecture, maybe, there are some courses, or um, construction and deconstruction. There is one course. um, I think music is going to play a huge role, to be able to help them process their thoughts better, even design. There is designing courses. So I think music is very important for designing. We help design, like the halo that you said. That's kind of like the center of our discussion here, the halo. So that kind of leads us on. And the halo is music, is that halo that leads us on. So I'm very grateful that you guys are here. And is there anything that you would like to share for the students? What do they need? Because when I was joining Berklee, for example, Shane, I was very scared that I grew up in India, right, where there are no harmonies, no chords. There's it's just a harmonium and tanpura. That's where I learned music. So it's like I didn't have a sense of harmony. And when Shane first told me, get that book, the harmony book, and I'm like, oh God, I have to study that book now. I thought it was going to be a tough thing, but I have to thank Berkeley, because the books are very well designed from basics, and for anyone can gather. And Shane taught us so easily that in 2 weeks' time, I was able to compose songs with properly written harmonies, and Shane politely telling me, that doesn't work. So you had a way of not making students feel bad. That's also very important. Not everyone can do that, you know yeah. I was brought up in in a place where people just put you down right away. Just like, it doesn't work, nope, do it that way. So there was no nope with Shane. It was always yes, it works, but this is better. So I think that's a takeaway also for students. There's nothing to get worried about if you don't know music.
No, no, no.
No.
Yeah, my takeaway from this conversation that is that, wow, I'm pretty amazing, and
You are. And so is Bobby, because
Bob, like,
You know what?
would
You're very
why would
nurturing.
you not want to study with us? Because we are amazing.
You're very nurturing, and I was going to say that's the thing. That's the thing about that any school or any good teacher is like you got to nurture. It's like
Yeah,
planting plants or something. And you can't just. I have lots of colleagues, and we could name them, but that are like, no, it's got to be this, and they turn out a certain kind of person that probably is going to be having a nervous breakdown in 10 years after they graduate or something like. And I never worked with that. And most sensitive people are really good artists, and so when you're dealing with sensitive person like me, or you guys, you have to, you can't be yelling and doing that sort of stuff and expect any good reaction. So anyway,
yeah.
gotta
So yeah,
nurture.
Absolutely. And beneath all, beneath all this confidence, this exterior of confidence
Yes.
is someone who's hungry to learn and really has no idea what I'm doing. And it takes people like Bobby Stanton to nudge me in the right direction. And again, that nurturing comment, I believe in that. I could play 4 or 5 songs, and I could play them really well, but that's all I knew. And you have to stop. You have to start. You have to be willing to pull out of your driveway and get, and drive down the street. You just have to get out. And,
Yeah,
and,
one
and
teacher can change your life, like one teacher, and I had the most beautiful experience of my life with Shane, and so I'm very blessed. And before we part, could you guys sing something together or play something together? So
I don't think we can, right? Because of the time
I
delay.
don't think
We can sing
I don't
together
think
on
it'll
the
sink.
possible, but it wouldn't sync. How
oh
we would,
yes, because of the timing and the Zoom.
yeah, we'd have to one of us do a recording and then have the other person do it. But
But
then
Yeah.
I
we'd have to sync a video to it. Oh my God, I couldn't live without that.
I think it would be perfectly acceptable to have Bob play us out.
Yes, maybe something. Yes.
Why don't you do Happy Trail? Do something with Happy Trails, Bob.
Happy trail. So, by the way, I've played musicals. You make lots of money playing musicals, so and get to stay in really nice hotels, and you don't have to work too hard. So I played a lot of musicals, and every time somebody leaves at the end of a musical, they play this song. So, which is the Sons of the Pioneers, right? So it's all
Yeah.
the same dance harmony. Too fast. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. I remember saying this before. Until something da 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 da. Well, bye. Bye, boys and girls. I don't know if that would be. Come back next week.
Thank you so
Beautiful.
much. Thank you.